All right, we have the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I'm going to be taking off these screws right here at the bottom. It's two of them. Then with the little tool, you begin to pry all around. There's adhesive that holds the screen to the base, so just take your time. This video, I'm having it pretty fast because I'm actually taking my time with it, trying not to break anything. So you just pry around, make sure it comes off. Take your time, be careful with it. So there's right here, it's for the battery shield. You take off those two screws, just be extremely careful. The screws are super small. Take off the little shield and pry off, disconnect the battery first. And right above it, there's another little disconnect. And there's, I believe it's 5 screws. It disconnects the screen together. So just be extremely careful with the screws. They are really small. That top right screw doesn't come off. It's attached to the little shield plate, and then the bottom left as well. And with the pry, you just disconnect those 3. And this is going to remove the camera and the sensor. It's 2 little screws, top and bottom. And there's a couple of other screws. Just be extremely careful with disconnecting the wires, the camera, because you could easily mess up your phone if you're not careful. Very delicate, very fragile. On the new screen, just place them back the way you took them off the other one, and they should just fall into place. And here we just screw them back into place. Just take your time. They're really small. This area is extremely fragile and delicate, so you don't want to break anything. So take your time. Also, you don't want to over tighten the screws, so make sure they're just nice and snug, but don't over tighten them. And I was having trouble screwing these in. It's just so small, and then the tools that I got weren't the best. So here I'm just scraping the base of the phone, just trying to take the previous glue off as much as possible. So I messed up here. I should have put the glue, and I forgot, and I didn't realize it until after the fact. So you'll see it later on where I start applying it, but it took me, I had difficulty putting it back together, so I didn't want to take it apart. It's a personal phone, so I just left it. So here you just start connecting everything back together the way you took it off, making sure the battery is the last thing that you connect, and then screw in the plate. Might be a little difficult because the screws are so small. Just take your time. Altogether, it should take about 45 minutes. It seems difficult at first, but once you do it, it's fairly simple. So here I'm putting the plate back on the battery, the two little screws that go on there. Another thing I would recommend is don't buy an aftermarket screen. If possible, go on eBay, shop around, try to get an Apple refurbished screen, because I've tried previous aftermarket screens only to give me problems. So I've had to change it out twice, and the third time it was actually an Apple screen, so it actually worked better, didn't give me problems, so it came out really good. So here I'm just checking everything works good before I seal it. This is the thing I forgot to put before connecting everything. So here I'm just cutting around the little wire to put the adhesive. So what I don't show is that you pull off the blue plastic, then there's a second clear plastic around the adhesive, and you just pull that back. Very simple. And here I'm just putting everything back together, making sure everything snaps into place. Lastly, putting the two screws. After you put those two screws, then you should be good to go. Here I'm gonna start checking the functionality of the screen, the response time, and the touch, and it's working really good. So make sure to double check yours as well.